Congressmen like cybersecurity. Congressman Will Hurd joins us to talk about them, and also a historic visit by the Pope to the U.S. and a way that you're helping some of our viewers here in San Antonio get a chance to kind of view that in D.C.
Absolutely. We had a number of tickets, and so we offered that to a number of constituents to come up and see the Pope from the west lawn of the Capitol. He's addressing a joint session of Congress, which is pretty historic. This has never happened before, and that's going down this week.
Well, that's really neat. And again, we have a huge Catholic population here, so I know that's very meaningful. Are there any rumblings on Capitol Hill of what you guys anticipate he may be saying?
I'm sure he's going to talk about climate change. He's probably going to talk about relationships with Iran and Cuba. He'll probably talk about the issue of abortion. So, I don't think that we've learned that this Pope is not afraid to tackle and talk about tough issues. So it should be an interesting event. I'm excited to be able to see it. I'm excited to have some constituents up from Washington. We're doing a little reception. So if anybody from San Antonio is in town, come by our office, 317 Cannon.
Oh, give Will Hurd a call.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys also, you're not afraid to tackle the tough issues either, and your CIA background has been something that's been very beneficial to you in helping tackle cybersecurity, and you have a big event this week.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize that outside of the Washington, D.C. area, San Antonio has more cybersecurity professionals than any other city in the country. It's a big deal.
Incredible.
It's a big deal. And so we're doing a congressional hearing on the cloud. Nobody's been able to tell me when the last time a congressional hearing happened right here in San Antonio. And so it's exciting doing that. We're doing it at UTSA. UTSA has a phenomenal program, so it's exciting to be there. Texas A&M San Antonio also has a growing program when it comes to cybersecurity. And when you have a company like Rackspace, who's one of the big cloud providers, this is a great opportunity to talk about an issue and how is the federal government using this technology, because it's cheaper and it's more secure. So we should be moving the federal government to this type of technology as quickly as possible. And these are some of the issues we'll be talking about tomorrow.
Well, in layman's terms, especially coming from your background, if you were to tell viewers the few things that they should do or could do to help keep their loved ones safe with the cloud, what would your suggestions be?
It's so basic, it's so simple. The most important thing is have a strong password. That is what is going to protect you, and 14 characters. That's a long password to remember. But, I used to do this, when I was in the CIA, I did some offensive operations on behalf of the federal government. I probably won't be going to Russia anytime soon. They're still a little upset with me about something. And I did this in the private sector as well, where we basically, broke into banks and tried to steal their money and show them how we did it. And so one of the biggest ways we always got in was because people had weak passwords. All
right, well, keep your bank account safe. Well, and on a heavier note, but as quickly as we're able to maybe kind of dive into it, Iran and the Iran deal has been such a divisive issue, and it's something happening overseas but definitely affects us, a hard deal to kind of boil down. How would you boil this down for viewers, and what is kind of your take on it?
So I was against this Iran deal primarily because you can't trust the Iranians. For almost 4 decades, they've been lying to the IAEA, that's the UN Nuclear Watchdog Agency. They've been lying to the UN Security Council, and they've been supporting terrorist organizations in Yemen, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. So based on this framework that we agreed to earlier in the year, Congress was supposed to have 60 days to review this deal. We weren't able to get enough votes to override a presidential veto. So the president's going to be able to go forward and agree to this deal. Now the question becomes, when is it going to be implemented by our European partners, and whether the Iranians themselves can agree to the deal? Because there's a number of groups inside Iran that are against having this deal with the United States. So there's a lot more to go. States are involved now. So like Texas has a number of sanctions against the Iranian government, and whether they can be forced by the president to lift those sanctions. So there's going to still be a couple more fights when dealing with this issue.
Well, we appreciate you coming in today, and I know that you always have your finger on the pulse of Washington, also San Antonio, and people can follow you on Twitter as to kind of know what you're getting into, correct?
Absolutely. Hurd on the Hill is my handle, H-U-R-D, and it's always good letting folks know what we're trying to do up in D.C.
Perfect. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.